Hello, guys. Welcome back to True Crime and Tarot. So, my voice is super scratchy. I know you guys can hear that. Sorry, I feel like I have not been live in days, and I haven't. I'm enjoying time with my family, my birthday, and all that, but I am back. Okay. And yes, I have most certainly seen the nonsense going on these YouTube streets. What we are going to talk about tonight is Candus Blywell's and suicide. Okay. And we're talking about that for obvious reasons. Okay. The other night, she texted three different YouTube creators. Hi, Asterisk. And told them that she wanted to end her life. Okay. Now, some of the comments that I've seen, like from a true crime standpoint, have disturbed me because I didn't know that people didn't know. Like I just assumed they knew, but they don't. Um, I seen these sorts of comments a lot. Like, so what? She was probably just drunk, right? Other ones saying people, and this is a big one. This is a big one. I have seen this one multiple times, written in different ways, okay, by just different people. That when people commit suicide, they don't tell anyone. That is not true. Okay. This stream, we can get into it after we go over what I want to go over. But, whether Candace concocted this up, whether she cooked this up with whoever, I don't know that. None of us know that. We could speculate on that. But here's some stuff because I was really bothered. One creator, I'm sure he knows who he is. I have left him a comment letting him know exactly how ridiculous his stream was. Hi, Dolly. But when someone texts you and tells you they want to end their life, the very first thing that you do is call 911. I really can't believe that I'm having to say this, but apparently I have to say this. Okay. So, what you do not do is you do not go live on YouTube and then ask your subscribers, who I guess are somehow like your private secretaries now or something, for numbers to call. Because since we were all kids, I assume, you obviously live in Virginia. I live in Delaware. We grew up in this country. And it's like ingrained in your brain that when there's an emergency, you call 911. You don't call YouTube. Okay. And then you don't ask other people, hey, get me some numbers. This is what was happening. Okay. So I'm watching this live stream, the replay of it, uh, with just my mouth wide open. So it took 15 minutes for him to finally figure out that 911 was the actual number to call, because he first asked his subscribers to find him numbers to Hawkins County. Somehow, I think his fingers stopped working and he forgot how to Google. And then he decided this was not an emergency. We're going to call the non-emergency line. And then he called Molly Golightly. So I have no idea what Molly Golightly was supposed to do, if she works, for any type of, police department or something like that. But yes, that he made a phone call to her. And then he finally, at around 15 minutes into this live stream, where he's telling everyone and showing everyone a text from Candace to him saying that she wanted to end her life, he finally figured out to call 911. Okay. And it was really disturbing to me. It honestly was. I asked him this question on his live stream. His response to me was that he's lazy. I asked him why he went live instead of calling 911. His response was, I'm lazy and I have people to do that for me. That's what he said. Okay. So, but anyway, that is absolutely not what you do. And where you're going to look at what you actually do when somebody says these types of things. Oh, hang on a second. Let me share my screen. Share my screen with you guys. I want it like this. Mhm. It really honestly is a shame that I have to even say these sorts of things. You would think that, especially someone that covers true crime, that you would know that, but people honestly do not know that, apparently. So anyway, there's something going on once again. The browser can't access your screen. Why does it keep telling me that? Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. All right, hold on. Let me see. I don't know. My computer's being weird again. It's been weird all month. Nope. Wow. Guess it doesn't want me to show you guys this. Okay. Anyway, I'll read some stuff. This is from the National Institute of Mental Health. Okay. And these are frequently asked questions about suicide. Suicide is the leading cause of death, is a leading cause, I'm sorry, in the United States. So if you live here in my country, it's a leading cause. If you live outside this country, hopefully it is not a leading cause in your country. But here are some of the things. Who is at risk for suicide? People of all gender, ages, and ethnicities can be at risk for suicide. The main risk factors for suicide are a history of suicide attempts, depression, or other mental disorders or substance abuse disorder. If I could pull this screen up right now, I would highlight that. Because again, I've seen so many people say, well, she was probably just drunk. Yeah, well, that's a big problem. And let me just tell you why. I know someone, my family member, actually, okay, had a roommate. This roommate was not necessarily suicidal, but he got drunk and he got in his feelings and he took his own life. Okay, to this day, this happened about 10 years ago. To this day, she's never really recovered from that. She is the one that found him. Okay, and I will leave that there. But people say, oh, she was probably just drunk. She probably was. Maybe. We don't know, but probably. It's Candus. That's an even bigger problem. Okay. So, next one, chronic pain. Next one, family history of a mental disorder or substance use. Again, with the substance use. Again, we are reading the main risk factors for suicide. Okay. Family history of suicide, exposure to family violence. Let's highlight that one for her, including physical or sexual abuse. We can highlight all of those for Candace. Next one, presence of guns or other firearms in the home. Next one, having recently, and I think this is interesting as it relates to Candace. Okay. Main risk factors for suicide, having recently been released from prison or jail. Now, obviously, we know that Candace is not in jail, but who is? Don, right? Don doesn't have too much longer. Don's getting out around August ish. And I believe he has to do a treatment rehab thing. If he doesn't complete that, he's going to go back and finish the rest of his sentence. But I thought that was interesting in relation to her. The last main risk factor for suicide is exposure, either directly or indirectly, to other suicidal behavior, such as that of family members, peers, or celebrities. Okay. Most people who have risk factors for suicide will not attempt suicide. And it is difficult to tell who will act on suicidal thoughts. Although risk factors for suicide are important to keep in mind, Someone who is showing warning signs of suicide may be at a higher risk for danger and need immediate attention. Now, here's another thing. We could highlight this whole next section for Candus. Stressful life events, such as the loss of a loved one, legal troubles, or financial difficulties. I think we can highlight all of those for her. Interpersonal stressors, such as shame, harassment, bullying, discrimination, relationship troubles, may contribute to suicide risk, especially when they occur along with suicide risk factors. What are the warning signs of suicide? Warning signs that someone may be at immediate risk for attempting suicide include number one, talking about wanting to die or wanting to kill themselves. Again, this is on the National Institute of Mental Health. You can look this up yourself. Talking about feeling empty or hopeless or having no reason to live. Talking about feeling trapped or feeling that there are no solutions. Is anybody picking up a pattern here? The first three all start out with talking. This myth that people who commit suicide don't tell anyone, that is just unequivocally untrue. Whether this was a Candace hoax or not, that is irrelevant at this moment because I just want people to have this information. Please do not think that if someone says to you, hey, I want to end my life, that they're not going to do it. It is literally the number one sign. In fact, most people do tell someone, multiple someones. Okay. The next one, feeling unbearable emotional or physical pain, talking about being a burden to others, withdrawing from family and friends. Who have we seen in weeks? Giving away important possessions, saying goodbye to friends and family, putting affairs in order, such as making a will, taking great risks that could lead to death, such as driving extremely fast, etc. Talking or thinking about death often. Other serious warning signs that someone may be at risk for attempting suicide include displaying extreme mood swings, suddenly changing from very sad to very calm or happy, making a plan or looking for ways to kill themselves, such as searching for lethal methods online, stockpiling pills, or buying a gun. Talking about feeling great guilt or shame, using alcohol or drugs more often, acting anxious or agitated, changing eating or sleeping habits, showing rage, or talking about seeking revenge. Um, it's very important that everyone understands that, again, regardless if this was a Candace hoax, please understand these things. If someone in your real life says this to you, don't go on YouTube live. Okay, that's my number one advice here. I mean, seriously. But don't think that they won't do this. Please. There have been many, many people that have taken their lives and they have absolutely told others multiple times, in fact, like I just said. Hi, Asterisk. Hi, whoever else is watching. Um, Now I did see, like I said, I saw Dolly's, insane stream. Should I touch on this? Yeah, I think I should. So, when this stream aired, it was what, May 31st? So I've talked about this before. YouTube pays out once a month. Okay. So from May 1st to May 31st, well, whatever views you get and whatever little ads go across your little videos that people watch and memberships and super chats, all of that adds up to what you are going to be paid. Okay. So May 31st, this guy, Dolly Vision, instead of calling 911, he went live. And you can go watch that if you want. Um, He goes live to tell everyone, you guys, give me some numbers. Candus just texted me for the first time ever. First time she's ever texted him to say, ending my life. Goes live. I watched to see how long it would take him to call 911. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. With a blunt hanging out of his mouth. You know, he wants everyone else to Google numbers for him and send it to his Facebook. Then he doesn't want anyone to call 911. This is not an emergency. His words, not mine. Calling the non-emergency line. Okay. Nobody answers because it's a non-emergency line. Again, he gets this brilliant idea that I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Molly Golightly. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, asterisk. Wait, that was a weird night. I was watching the attorney's streams and seeing something about a body around the same time. I figure I'd look at TBI website later. I don't know. Yes, the male remains that were found at Bristol, those were male. So it's not summer. I think you guys all know that by now, though, correct? What's up, Doug? Colleen, sorry, just joined the chat. That's okay, Colleen. Asterisk, a setup, you think? Did they all do that? Oh, I listen. I'm not even doing any conspiracy, anything. Okay. I do think that the text to him was real. Okay. I do think she was calling Benny Keys while he was on a live stream. I do think she did that. But what I was seeing from him as a creator, Benny kept answering the phone. I watched that. He just kept answering the phone. She kept hanging up on him. But Dolly's was just unreal. It was unreal. That is not what you do. And I don't have any idea why I need to say this out loud. You don't know that you don't go live on YouTube? You honestly don't know that you pick up your phone and you dial 3 little numbers? Is it that hard? Is it? You know how many views that video of his got? Like 16,000. That means he's getting paid for that. For wasting 15 minutes with this nonsense instead of calling 911 and taking it seriously. Now, whether you believe that Candus is guilty or innocent, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you how to feel or what to think. I think she's guilty or has guilty knowledge for sure. That's my opinion, right? But do I want to see anything happen to this woman? No. No, because I want to know where Summer is. I want Summer found. And I feel like if something happens to Candus, we may never get those answers. Okay. But either way, at this point, whether people like it or not, she has not been arrested for Summer's disappearance. That is a fact. Okay. So if she's telling people, even if they're people on YouTube, these creators that, I want to end my life. For the love of God, do the right damn thing. Call 911. It's not that hard. I swear to you, it is not that hard. Have a moment. I'm really kind of shitty with my laptop right now. I still don't know what my problem is with it. I can't share my screen, and I really want to share my screen because there's more stuff that I want to show you guys. I actually wanted to show you part of that ridiculous live stream. And I wanted to show you guys this website. So there is, if you are feeling suicidal, okay, there is a number that you can call. I'm going to put it up here. And it is 1-800 273 TALK. TALK. And this is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can also access this online as well. Okay, this lifeline is free. It's confidential. If you are feeling this way, you can call that. Okay. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Lifeline connects people to the nearest crisis center that provides crisis counseling and mental health referrals. Okay, so if you are feeling like you just don't want to be on this earth anymore, listen, that is always going to be a temporary solution, or how do I say this? It's a little late. Sorry. Permanent solution to a temporary problem. So please call that. If you feel like you need to talk to someone confidentially, you don't want anyone to know, please call that. And again, if somebody in your real life tells you this, texts you this, calls you and tells you this, stop what you're doing. Call 911 and get them some help. That's it. Hi, Rochelle. Law enforcement needs to arrest her for child neglect, abuse to get her help and keep her safe. Yeah. Rochelle, we're fastly approaching the year mark, aren't we? 13 days away. 13 days. And it will be 1 year since Summer has been missing. Rochelle, can't they put her on a 72-hour hold? I don't know. I do not know the answer to that question. Maybe they have. I really don't know. I have seen people saying, did Candace make this up? Is she in cahoots with Jody Sue Brown? All of these things. And who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows? I don't know. Candace's antics have been all over the place. We've all witnessed them. Drunk people do drunk things. They do ridiculous things. And being that we're on the issue of drugs and alcohol at this point, I want to touch on what everyone saw today, or most people, with Ernie Shell. We're not going to go too far into this. Ernie Shell's not somebody that I watch every day or, follow super closely, but kind of hard to miss today, with all of what was going on with him. If I see one more person proclaim PTSD for their ridiculous behavior, I think my head is going to explode. I don't know how much you guys have been exposed to people with addiction issues. Hopefully, not a lot. I unfortunately have been. What you saw today with Ernie Shell was not PTSD. That is not what that looks like. I have had PTSD for many years. I have been in therapy for PTSD for many years. I have met other people with PTSD. That is not anything what that looks like. What you saw with Ernie today was drugs. Okay? It was drugs. Specifically uppers. I've seen a lot of people comment meth. They are probably correct with that. But again, not PTSD. All right? And however you feel about Ernie, feel about Ernie. Again, that's not for me to tell you. But I will say for him, just like I used to say for Candace, that if you are going to donate money to this man, you are an enabler. Just like when Benny would have Candace up and all her Cash App, all their Cash App nonsense, enabling. That's all that is. You know that you are giving money to an active addict. And if you don't know that, please allow me to tell you that that is what you are doing. Okay. I myself personally don't find the appeal with Ernie. Other people apparently do. I don't know what it is about the guy. If he's entertaining to people, if they think he's good looking, or who knows. I don't really understand the appeal, but it's there for some reason. But either way. So Colleen, if she's a threat to herself or others, yes, yes, Colleen. Rochelle, all she has to say is she's fine and they will release her. Well, I don't exactly know how that works, Rochelle. I've never had to deal with a seriously suicidal person in my life. I've read a lot of things about suicide. I've had family members, like I said, that have found a person that has committed suicide. But I just, I don't know about like 5115 people and things like that. I really just do not know. And I probably should read up on that. Rochelle, dealing with addiction issues in my own family it's hell. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It is pure hell. Um, you know, I don't know who Ernie's family is. I have no idea. It's not really my business unless he tells people. I don't know. Um, but if I were his family member, or if I was one of his subscribers and considered myself like, a part of his YouTube family, I would be seriously reaching out to him in a very real way. Um, that, hey, you need some help. And, I'll be an ear for you. But you definitely need some help because he does. So, but again, that is not what PTSD looks like at all. Okay, it's just not. Rochelle, that doesn't sound right. Okay, well, let's see what Rochelle said. I was told since a family member would be held on a 72-hour hold, 2 hours later they walk through the door. Wow. That there's Colleen, that might not be normal procedure per se, but you got to remember that humans run everything. So, we screw up, and it could very well be true. I'm not going to say that Rochelle is not being honest, or. So, Petro, why you hate other creators so much? You people must stop the bullying on each other. There, well, it's THERE, but that's okay. There is a place for everyone under this sun. Okay. I'm not bullying anyone, Petro. Okay. I don't know why you think I'm bullying anyone, because I'm not. If me saying that what I seen today with Ernie Shell is drug addiction, if that's bullying to you, I don't know what to say to that. It's not bullying, sir. Okay, I'm not an enabler of Ernie's. I'm not wishing ill on him. I see what I see. He played it for everyone. If you are talking about me speaking about Dolly and his fumbling of Candus's, wanting to commit suicide, that is not bullying either, because I just gave you guys all of the warning signs, all of that from the National Institute of Mental Health. Okay. And the number one thing is to call 911. So if you would like to elaborate on who exactly I am bullying, feel free. Colleen, that's just really quick to do an evaluation is all. Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, Colleen. It really is. 2 hours. Wow. It's kind of like, don't really care. Like, just go ahead and leave, whatever. But that is a thing. Even with like addiction and stuff. If people, like if they've overdosed, or something like that, and the paramedics come to take them, if they refuse treatment, they don't get treatment. You cannot force a person to accept any sort of medical treatment if they do not want it, period. And some of that's very unfortunate. I've watched that up close and personal, and it's just literally painful to watch. Rochelle, Colleen, all they have to say is they aren't a threat to themselves or others, and they are released. That's really, really sad, Rochelle. Like I do wonder what the guidelines, for like a hold, an involuntary hold, are. Let me look that up. I'm just curious. What are the guidelines for an involuntary hold in Tennessee? We'll just use Tennessee as the states. Truth-seeking Granny. Ernie was on a high, not PTSD. Yes, he most certainly was, Granny. So it says how Tennessee's involuntary psychiatric treatment law works. So it says involuntary emergency psychiatric hospitalization can begin with a 911 call or a trip to the emergency room. The state's commitment law gives law enforcement, doctors, and mental health crisis responders the authority to detain someone in a crisis against their will and without a court order. If the individual meets all of the following criteria: number 1, has a mental illness or serious emotional disturbance. Number 2, poses an immediate substantial likelihood of serious harm. Number 3, needs care, training, or treatment. And number 4, all available less drastic alternatives are not suitable to meet the needs of the person. I think that last one's interesting because they could just put her in jail. We'll just put you in the drunk tank for the night, and let her go the next day. So, Rochelle, they refuse Texas and walk out the door. That's I've seen that. I've seen that with drug addiction quite a bit, unfortunately, where you go to take someone and they just say no. Nope, not going. And there's nothing you can do about that. Rochelle, was heartbreaking. It was my son. I was promised they'd hold him 72 hours, and 2 hours later, he was back home. No treatment at all. That is really heartbreaking. You know what, Rochelle? That reminds me of, I always bring up Soft White Underbelly on this channel because it's one of my favorite YouTube channels on YouTube. But that reminds me of there was a guy with schizophrenia that he had interviewed, and this guy, his family saw him on this channel, and they actually went and met up with Mark, that is the creator of Soft White Underbelly, and they did an interview with him as well, and they explained that he had schizophrenia, and on top of it he had drug addiction. And this family had just been through it all. I mean, they had put him in treatment centers, they had done everything, and just there was nothing that they could do. He was still getting high, he was schizophrenic, he was on no medication, he was out on Skid Row. And it was pretty sad because it was his dad and his sister. And his dad, he was like, this was supposed to be his 25th birthday, and this was supposed to be the year that we all celebrated together and like a normal birthday. But instead, he was out on Skid Row, unmedicated. And it's just, it's difficult because when people become adults, you can't, what can you do? hope for the best. I mean, seriously, and in a lot of situations, that's all you can do. Um, our HIPAA laws and all of those sorts of laws, like it just really prevents people from getting the treatment. I think sometimes not HIPAA laws, but just different laws that we have. It sort of prevents people sometimes when they absolutely need it. They need it, and you're right. They just have to say no. Um, True seeking granny. What's sad is Candace has cried wolf so many times, and next time the wolf will get her. Yeah, listen, I've seen that said a lot. A lot of people think that, this is another like Candace hoax, like what her and Don did to Mary, which was just absolutely awful. I don't know. I don't. I was gonna speculate a little bit on it, but I just feel like, nah, I don't know that I'm gonna speculate. I mean, she really I really don't know. She does meet a lot of the criteria for a high risk factor suicide, honestly. She does. Whether she was just drunk that's not a thing. Just drunk is not a thing because that's actually a big problem if somebody is drunk and talking like that. But if she was drunk and she was doing that, that makes a lot of sense to me with Candace. Um, I can't really see her like plotting some type of prank like this by herself. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she really has lost everything in her life. No more kids, husband's in jail. She hasn't been staying at her house in God knows how long. Who knows? It's been a while, weeks, weeks. So, I don't know. I did find it interesting that I don't think she reached out to any female creators that I'm aware of. And, I thought about something else. Like, is she still, I'm trying to remember. I seen Kathy on YouTube. She's still with a friend Kathy because I thought she was in Georgia now. And I was thinking about like if she's staying with another friend, wouldn't she say that? Or wouldn't she say that to them before she'd reach out to YouTube creators? But I mean, I guess I don't know. Let's see. Colleen, thank you for your concern. Hey, sweet sativa. Rochelle, Colleen, thank you for your concern, but it's much worse. 15 years of drug addiction. Just last week, I believed he was ready for treatment and he fooled me again. I'm heartbroken. Listen, that's such a common thing, Rochelle. And there are groups for that. There are absolutely groups for that. In fact, I made one. I made a group for that for people online that were family members of addicts. I don't think that the family members are talked about enough. It's always about the addict. And that's part of addiction is it's always about them. No matter how much you want them to love themselves enough or love you enough or love their kids enough, or it doesn't matter. Once that drug has taken over, that's what matters. Nothing else. And it's painful. It is painful to know that a substance means more to a person that you love than you do. I felt that pain by more than one person. Petro, I lost a family member through drugs. It's not good. I didn't speak about Ernie alone. What I meant is there's so much hatred between the creators. It's so sad. You all bring so much good to the table. Yeah. Hey, Blue. The bad news is I have insomnia. The good news, I catch you live. I will be listening. Okay. Well, I have a super itchy voice, as you can hear, like a hoarse voice, I should say. But I just felt like I needed to talk about this because the misinformation with PTSD, with suicide, that I'm seeing in comments, all over YouTube is just, well, it needs to be talked about because we can't just be going around assuming that if somebody talks about suicide, they're not going to act on it. They will. They have. Okay. Also, um, people with PTSD do not do what you saw Ernie Shell do today. I will say that again. That is not what that looks like. I've had PTSD triggers. It looks nothing like that. Nothing like that. I will tell you guys a weird thing though. I don't know if I've talked about this in my live streams before. Um, I with meth addiction, that's obviously an upper. Meth's an upper. I don't have a lot of experience in real life with those types of addicts. More people that with opiate addiction, but I don't know if you guys remember an app called Kick, K-I-K. I used to have a Kick, right? I used to be on Twitter, and on Twitter, like you had a Twitter, and then you would have Kick groups. There's little clicky groups and all that kind of stuff. Well, somehow, and this is, it's not funny. It's just that if you knew me in real life, addiction is something that drives me completely insane. Because I've dealt with the pain of it. I'm not an addict myself, but I've dealt with the pain of addicts for a very long time. So oddly enough, I find myself admitting a meth group on Kick. I am not kidding with you. These people were serious meth addicts. They would get right on cam, no problem, and do meth. And I would see the same people all the time. They loved this group. Well, I started talking to them about their life, seriously talking to them about their life. They would be naked a lot of the time. This is just truth, okay? And I saw the high sexuality that meth can drive. A lot of the time, people will watch like continuous hours of porn on meth. They just become like really sexual, really on high alert, really paranoid. And I would see all these behaviors. And, little by little, I did actually was successful in helping some of them get into treatment. Most of them did not. I'll be honest with you, most of them did not. But I learned a lot about meth and what it looks like and how people behave and I've seen a lot of Ernie shells. Colleen, I was wondering about you because it's been a while since your last live. Glad you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I just, I don't know. Well, number one, it was my birthday. So I had my birthday. My birthday was on Saturday. So my birthday, it was Memorial Day, family time. There's a lot of family time. So I have, I watched some stuff here and there. Then I was like catching up on some things. But I don't have enough time in my life to just sit and watch YouTube like every single thing that's going on YouTube. Because if I were to do that, there's literally not enough hours in a day. I just have other things to do, So, but I have missed like going live and, so I was like, I got to get on and talk to everyone and see how everybody's doing. But I really wanted to talk about the suicide. Candus's, Candus doing that. Yes, Rochelle, it feels like that. You'd be surprised. There's actually people that have dodged it, and I consider them very lucky. But a lot of people certainly have been touched by addiction. Rochelle, I don't care how good people's lives look from the outside. Everyone's family has been. I think you meant to say touched by addiction. I think. Um, Rochelle again, I tried to go take him to the ER for an opiate blocker since he had detox day week in jail. No go. I try to supply him with Narcan and tell him when he's ready, I will take him to treatment. You know what, Rochelle, my heart goes out to you. It honestly does, because I know exactly where you're at. I know exactly where you are at. And it's probably one of the most helpless feelings in the world. And unless you have dealt with an addict very closely, very up close and personal, sometimes it can be hard for people to understand. But, and a lot of the time, it's like the family secret, like you don't want everyone to know that your family member is this way. And I find that talking about it is best. People feel alone, and you are not alone. If you are a person that has dealt with an addict and felt that pain from them, you are not alone. I've been there. People that I'm friends with have absolutely been there. It's something that it's hard to understand. You feel almost like you're in the addiction with them. You feel like you're sort of going crazy with them at times. It's just you grieve them even when they're still alive, because you just get to a point where you're like, you know what? I don't think they're going to live. I just don't. And you start to like grieve them in ways. I don't know. I could go really deep into this, but Rochelle, I cry myself to sleep. The nightmares are worse. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Rochelle. I am. And like I said, you are so not alone. You just aren't. Um, and I wish that, because addiction, I think it is a very selfish disease. And people that are addicts are, they have a high propensity for manipulation. They can be very manipulative. I once had an addict, true story, once had an addict sit next to me, okay, on my couch in my house. My purse was sitting in between us, and this person in front of my face while they were speaking to me went in my purse and stole that $20 out of my purse. No lie. And it just blew my mind. Like, how the hell? I was sitting right here in front of you, right here. So it's not that I'm stupid or I'm naive. It's just that sometimes they're just that damn good at what they're doing. Addiction will really make people do things that, well, you saw addiction play out in front of your face like today, like I keep saying. Watching Ernie stream, it might be triggering for some people. It might take them back to a place that they used to be in. It might take family members back to a place that they might have been in with a family member watching that kind of behavior. I thought that people were almost, they were really nice. I seen a lot of people praying for, his well-being. I just don't like the disinformation that was PTSD. It just that bothered me because again, I have PTSD and that's absolutely not what that was. So, people seem scared sometimes to talk about addiction, and I don't know why. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem for a lot of people. A lot of people, a lot of families. And there's no reason to be ashamed of talking about it. Now, if you want to go and say, oh, Ernie, that Junkie, screw that guy. What? Fine. Then you're, I don't think you're being very helpful. But to deny that that's what it was, that's not being very helpful either. It's not. Awareness is key, my friends. Asterisk. Yep, my best friend's old friend. Hang on. Came back and then stole her money out of her purse in my friend's own shop. Yeah. Yes, listen, the things that the things that the addicts will put their loved ones through is just horrific. And this is why for the Wells boys, I'm really glad that they're at a different place. And like I've said before, I hope that the foster family that they are with are, I hope that these people are good to them because they were living with two addicts. And I imagine that as pure hell, especially when those two addicts are your parents and you have no control over what's happening to you or in your life. At least when you're an adult and you're dealing with an addict, you do have a choice. You can choose tough love. And I think that's probably the hardest thing for loved ones to ever do. I've done it. Um, Tough love meaning zero enabling, um, keeping distance, a lot of distance. That's really difficult. It's really, really hard when you love a person, but it has been effective at times. Um, Asterisk. I was like shocked. I didn't even see her. The cameras got her. Oh, this happened to you, Asterisk. Yeah. Yeah, this is like it's pretty much like the story I kind of just told. I mean, it just happened like literally right in front of my face. My with my purse next to me. I think my purse was like touching my leg. This person is sitting on the other side of it, and yeah, just dug right in there. $20 gone. And $20 is $20. Not that big of a deal. But it's just the fact, like you were in my house talking to my face and you stole my money for your addiction. And this was a person that was, very close to me. So it's painful. It really is when you watch, a friend, a son, a husband, a wife, a sister, a brother go down that road. Or at least for me, I've wanted to grab a hold of them and just like shake them. What are you doing? Stop this. Like you're such a great person, or you're so funny, or you're such a good-hearted person. Like, why are you doing this? And I've learned over the years, because I really have dealt with so many addicts in my real life, that you just can't do that. You can't. You really have to sit back and let them choose help. And that is the hardest thing to watch ever. And even after all these years for me, it's still difficult for me to understand the why of it. Just the why. What makes you choose this? You know that this is a dead end road. It is. So why do you choose this? Asterisk, yes, she gave me bad vibes. Isn't that sad though? Like the person you knew before, and then the addict, how that they give a completely different energy off. I've said this before, and it's really sad. But I've like, in a weird way, just come to terms with it. But it's like my brother is still alive, but he's not. My brother's been dead for a long time now. He's just a shell of a person, and I didn't use that word on like. Okay, that didn't come out right. He's just not. He doesn't function as an adult in any way, shape, or form, any capacity. Um, when my kids were littler, I used to wish that my brother would like be an uncle. I wanted that so badly, and that never happens. And even with Jace and Aubrey, he's never going to be an uncle to them. It's just something that I've had to accept. So, Colleen, because they are hurting and don't know how to deal with their feelings and don't want to self medicate. Are you talking about addicts? See, the problem that I have is that I fully understand that addiction often comes from pain, but the pain that addicts inflict on other people is just, in my opinion, not talked about enough. It's just not. It's always about the addicts. And I've always wanted to change that narrative of we can talk about you and your addiction and addiction itself, but the people that get hurt the most are always the people that are closest to that addict. I remember one time I had to go to this family therapy thing for a family member for addiction. They had gone to a treatment center for 28 days, and we went up as a family to have like a family therapy session with them before they came back home. And before we got to see our family members, all of the family members that had come up for this day with the different addicts that were in this treatment facility, the therapist talked to all of us as a group, and sort of like schooled us real quick on addiction. And this was like my crash course. This was like way back. But I'll never forget what this therapist did. He had a chalkboard. That's how long ago this was. No whiteboard. This was chalkboard. And he drew this giant circle. And he said, this circle represents the addict. This is how they see themselves in life. Okay. And then he put all these little dots around this giant circle in the middle of the chalkboard. And he said, all these little dots are everyone else in their life. It could be mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, significant others, children. And what an addict will do is when they need something from different people, they pull you into their big circle because they see themselves as the center of everything. And when they get what they need from you, they push you right back out of the circle. This is somebody, in active addiction. And I've never forgot that because it's always rang true, at least for me, dealing with addicts. Blue and gold. We are only as sick as our secrets. I love that saying, Blue. And that is an NA saying, I believe. The emotional pain that is involved with the addict and their loved ones is no joke. It absolutely is not. Asterisk, that's why I only like a turtles. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're right at the hour mark, guys. So probably gonna stop this here and go lay down, even though I definitely know I'm not going back to sleep. So, but I really didn't want to go too much over an hour. But it was good to see you guys and be back on live soon. Asterisk, sorry. What are you sorry for? Why are you sorry? You didn't do anything wrong. Did you do something and I missed it? or I don't know. When comments pop up on my screen, I don't know, like, I always read them wrong, I feel like. Justice Janie. I like you, Justice Janie. You always show up. I like the pink and black hearts too. It's cute. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get off. I will see you guys later. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, good Thursday, and a good weekend. I'm sure I'll be on before the weekend, or probably this weekend actually. So, and just so you guys know, tomorrow, thank the heavens, that Mercury retrograde will be coming to an end tomorrow on June 3rd. So on Friday, hopefully, this crazy drama that we've all unfortunately been subjected to on this platform will start to simmer down just a hair. A lot of hairs, hopefully. So, but anyway, I will see you guys later. Have a great night, and bye for now.